Welcome to this Haiku Screencast, and in this screencast I want to show you how you can share files and folders through your network with your Haiku machine. So normally you would ask, is this possible? Because Haiku does not ship with a networking file system. Yes, it is possible because there is an old protocol called SSH which allows you to not only remotely to connect to another machine, Unix-based machine, to another Haiku machine, Unix, Linux, BSD, Mac OS X, or even Windows PC if you have OpenSSH server installed on Windows. But it also allows you to share files through this protocol and to copy files over. For this operation to do or to success, we need to first of all open up a terminal, because there is no graphical user interface for SSH. So we go to the feather menu, applications, terminal, and the terminal will open up. Let me make the font size a little bit bigger so you can see something. So first of all, I can tell you I have a Mac Mini also running here on my desk. On my right side I have a Mac Mini here running as an OpenSSH server. OpenSSH is installed on Mac OS X, so my Mac Mini has it already shipped with. And Linux also, normal Linux distributions have also SSH enabled by default, or they ship with OpenSSH and you can easily connect to them. Windows needs an OpenSSH server that you need to download. Just consult Google and you can find a lot of links and tutorials how to do this on Windows. So let me first log into my Mac Mini. I know that my Mac Mini has the username leak and the IP address 192.168.1.2, and with this I can log into my Mac Mini, and now I'm logged into my Mac Mini. As you can see here, the prompt has changed. I can type ls here to see the file structure. I can go to a different directory, public, and if you see in my home directory there is no public, so I'm really on my Mac Mini now, connected remotely, and I can work with the files here. I can just delete some files like the one MP3 for example. I can also execute CLI based applications like VI. I can see, open up documents here, work with documents. Yeah, just normally like I would do on my Mac Mini if I'm having or running a terminal session there. I can of course log out again with exit or log out, and as you can see, connection to the server has been closed now. And now what if I want to copy a file over to my Mac Mini, because I want it to use as a server? And let's pretend that we want to copy over, let's pretend that we copy over one file, like this Heathrow MP3 file that I have lying here on my desktop. So what can I do? You know, there's a local file, a local command called cp to copy files over, and the SSH version of this is called scp, and allows you not to only copy files locally, but also copy files to an SSH server. So what do I need to do now? So typing scp here, then I need to give it the source directory or source file name. In this case Heathrow MP3. I'm just dragging it in here, and the paths will automatically written here in the terminal. And then of course my target, which is now my Mac Mini, and I need to type in the full path to my directory where I want to put my file in, as you can see here, and I can give it a name of course, but it will leave it to heathrow.mp3. Hit enter. It will ask for the password. Type in the password, and you can see the copy process here, and it's copying the file over to my Mac Mini. So let me open up SSH again, And by the way, I'm using the page up key to automatically autofill the last command that I did with SSH, which is quite handy if you're working a lot with the terminal. Typing the password again, go to the public directory, make an ls here, and here you can see my Heathrow mp3 is there. So this works. Nice. So the next thing is just copy over a file from my Mac Mini to my Haiku machine. I can see my file that I want to copy with VI here. I can manually copy it over if it's a text file, but if it's a binary file, it's not so easy to copy it over. So what you do? First log out here, and then just use SCP the way you used it before, but now instead of giving a local file as the source file, just give the remote file as the source file. In this case, let me copy this from here. And the file is called this here. So this is my source, as you can see here in the previous ls that I run. This is the file that I want to copy, and I want to copy it over to my local machine into my boot home desktop. So now watch the desktop. After I'm inserting my password, you can see that a new file has been created there. And this is exactly the same file that I had opened with VI on my Mac Mini. As you can see here, it's the same file. So this works great, but what if you want to copy complete archives, complete folders? This works also with SCP. SCP has, when you're running SCP ---- help, you can see a short list of help, and there is an R option. So SCP -R, the same way as the local cp command, you can copy recursively also directories. But it's sometimes, especially if you have big source directories and want to make a backup from your source, from your super great Haiku program that you have coded, it's somehow not so good to copy over and overwrite all the files. You only want to copy those files from your source code that are newer than the other ones, especially if you are making a backup or something like this. So there's a nice nifty application called rsync. It's not installed by default on Haiku, so you need to go to your web browser. I have my web browser on my different desktop. This is too bad that the virtual machine is kicking in here. There is my third desktop, and I have you need to go to the Haiku ports website, by the way. So I don't have a link here, but I think it's called here ports-space.haiku-files.org, and there you can search for rsync, and there's a version rsync 3.0.7 GCC2 version. Just download it. I hope it's working. Yes, it's downloading. Open it up, and I think it should be copied over to your, yes, it should be copied over to the boot directory. Just simply expand it and close this, close that. Let's go to the terminal again, to my second desktop, and now I should have the option to use rsync. As you can see, it didn't work. Cannot open file libpopt.so.2. So let me go back to Haiku ports, search for lib, what was it called, libpopt, and there should be file again. Nothing found. Too bad. Let me search for libs. or popped only. There it is. Popped. So you need to download this as well. Hopefully this is the only dependency. I think we need to expand it, extract it to the boot directory, and hopefully our sync is now working. Let's go back to the terminal, and as you can see, it's now working and giving you a list of different commands that it can use, and you can see it's a lot more than SCP can. And yeah, what's really nice is now just let me pretend that I have just, for example, the JAP directory here. Let me get an info how big it is. 6.78 megabytes. The Heathrow MP3 was about 5 megabytes, so it should work in a commonly time. So now let me copy over this JAP directory to our public directory on our Mac Mini. So I can use rsync. Now I have to give it an option. -A will restore or keep all the rights of your files. This is especially useful. It's an archiving option basically, which will, this is especially useful for backups, which will keep all the files untouched basically, and copy only those files over to another machine. Then -V will give us a verbose output, so we can see how the files are copied. We can also, I think, give in --progress, which will give us a progress bar if you want to see one, but this is only a progress bar for each file which is copied, not a complete file operation. So let us copy those this file here, this whole directory, to our server. In our public directory, and I will give it a name, of course, as well, JAP 1.6. Hit enter. I need to enter my password, and now you can see the files are copied. This is the -V option, which allows you to see which files are copied now over to your Mac Mini, to my Mac Mini in this case. And it takes some time, but it is a good file copying protocol, not only for remote usage but also for local usage. If you want to back up something on your hard disk, on your USB stick or whatever, it's very handy. Then you can see how many bytes have been sent, how many received, and the bytes per second, and yeah, the speed. And let me pretend now that I have changed something in the source code of JAP, or adding I added a documentation file or something like this. Like for example, let's edit the changelog here. Just add a comment here, change to something. We can also add a new file if you want to. Or a new directory if you want to, new folder, test folder. And yeah, let's pretend we have changed a lot of stuff in our directory, and we want only to copy the changes to our server, but we don't know which version is on our server now. So we can use rsync again. Let me clear this up, and I will use the same command again, as you can see here. And what rsync now does is looking at the timestamp on which the files have been changed. So every time you create a file or save a file, the timestamp gets rewritten. So in this case, in JAP 1.6 directory, in the documentation, you can see that this changelog modified a few seconds ago. And this is also the case in the test folder directory. So what rsync now will do is just simply compare those timestamps with the one on the server, and if there are newer timestamps, it will copy over this particular file with the newer timestamp over to the Mac Mini. But this only works if you have a correct time set on your Mac Mini. If you have a different time set than the one here running on Haiku, you might run into problems, but there's a nice workaround for this. But it takes a little bit longer to copy over those files then. It's called the -C option, which will create a checksum of each file on your source directory, basically on your local Haiku machine, for example, and on your Mac Mini machine in this case, or my Mac Mini machine in this case, and it will then compare the checksums, and if they don't match, it will overwrite the file. So this is a quite nice option. I will add it here so you can see what is done now. Need to enter the password again, and now remember the V option shows which files are copied over, and you can see now only the changelog and the test folder have been copied over. And this is also something that you can see here in the send, that there are only 3 kilobytes were sent, and yeah, this is everything. And now if we go to our Mac Mini server again, into the public directory, we can see our JAB 1.6 directory. Let's go straight into it, and there you can see that we have now a test folder in here. If you go to the documentation, you can see there's the changelog. I can open up the changelog. As you can see, change is now in there. So this is quite a nice feature. rsync. It works also the other way around, so you can copy things over from your Mac Mini to your Haiku machine. So an re-backup or a restore of a backup of a previous made backup is also possible with rsync, and rsync is a pretty nice tool. As you can see, you only need 2 libraries, rsync and then the popped package that you can get from ports.haiku-files.org. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this screencast about sharing files through the network with Haiku, and thanks for watching.